Coming up on City Span, Savannah's new crime-fighting boss hits the ground running. Savannah Fire and Emergency Services joins an elite group of departments nationwide. City staff and elected officials hammer out the 2015 budget. And it's not a sprint, but a marathon. Rock and roll, that is. Stay tuned, City Span starts right now. Hello everyone, I'm Margaret Williams. Welcome to City Span, your source for news and information about Savannah City government. First up, Savannah-Chatham Metro Police's new leader was sworn in during a ceremony at the Civic Center last month. Chief Joseph H. Jack Lumpkin is tasked with leading the department of some 600 officers and 180 civilian personnel. And with the recent uptick in violent crimes, ongoing merger talks, and fallout from an investigation that led to charges against the former chief, Lumpkin, a veteran of law enforcement, has to hit the ground running.
November saw the official changing of the guard at the Savannah-Chatham Metro Police. More than a year after former Chief Willie Lovett went into retirement, Joseph H. Lumpkin was sworn in as the new head of the department, replacing interim Chief Julie Tolbert. Lumpkin brings 43 years of experience to his new role, most recently as the chief of the Athens-Clarke County Police, and he was voted the 2014 Chief of the Year by the Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police. With the recent spate of crime in the city, Lumpkin wasted little time in getting to work. Within weeks, he appeared before the City Council to provide an update on the progress of the department and on the challenges that lay ahead.
Overall public safety. Trust is a must. No single factor has more of a crucial impact to reducing crime levels in this nation than the partnership between law enforcement agencies and the communities they're entrusted to police.
As part of his strategy for reducing crime, he talked about Operation Ceasefire, the Quick Reaction Force, street-level drug sales, foot patrols, and the transition to 12-hour shifts to make up for manpower shortages. But Lumpkin said the key to it all was building an entirely new attitude of responsibility and credibility within the department. And he said that was his #1 priority. Reporting for City Span, I'm Jody Jenkins.
In other public safety news, the city celebrated a milestone recently as the city's fire protection classification reached the pinnacle of ISO rankings. Savannah Fire and Emergency Services becomes just the 62nd fire department nationwide to achieve the coveted ISO Class 1 rating. City Council recognized this achievement, and Mark Keller tells us what it means for the safety of Savannah citizens and visitors.
The Insurance Services Office, or ISO, provides reliable, up-to-date information about a community's fire protection services by collecting and analyzing relevant data and providing an objective standard that helps fire departments in planning and budgeting for facilities, equipment, and training. ISO collects information on the quality of public fire protection in nearly 48,000 fire districts across the United States. A community's classification depends on the fire department's staffing, training, equipment, and deployment of resources. ISO also takes into account the department's enforcement of fire prevention codes, public fire safety education, and fire investigations. The highest rating, Class 1, is reserved for communities with superior property fire protection. It's not easily achieved, and it's a goal that Savannah Fire has been aiming toward for several years.
We have endeavored to make sure that we meet the standards that you set for us in terms of your commitment to public safety. We certainly have, we feel, done our best, but we also know that there's a lot more work for us to do. So just wanted to share the pride that we have with you and hopefully make you proud of us and what we've accomplished.
The city's ISO classification is also dependent upon quality emergency communications and a superior water supply system, including the inspection and flow testing of fire hydrants and an evaluation of the amount of available water compared to the amount needed to suppress fires.
The water to the hydrants comes from our water distribution system, comes from the water supply system, and the water supply system actually is rated at a total of 40 points possible that go into the determination of the ISO rating.
Chief Middleton unveiled for City Council the first ever Savannah Fire and Emergency Services flag, which is adorned with the department's new logo.
What it represents to us is it's a Savannah Fire brand, which really stands for excellence. It's when you see that, that's what we want folks to think about, is excellence when they look at that logo.
The city's new ISO Class 1 rating could mean financial savings for residents and businesses. Most U.S. property insurers use the ISO classification in calculating premiums. In general, the cost of insurance in communities with superior ISO ratings is less than in communities with poorer ratings. Individuals should contact their insurance carriers and inform them of the city's new classification and seek any discounts the companies provide.
Elected officials and city staff sequestered themselves on St. Simon's Island last month to hammer out the city's budget for the coming year. The big-ticket items include capital improvements, police protection, and raises for city employees. And they pulled it off in a collaborative atmosphere with little wrangling and no tax increase.
Sometimes you have to step back a bit to bring things into focus, which is exactly what the City Council and staff were doing in mid-November in order to get a better grasp of the city's budget. A retreat at Epworth by the Sea on St. Simon's Island, to gather their thoughts and to consider the bigger picture of the city's finances and future, away from the crush of endless daily concerns and distractions of running a city, in order to better consider which direction the city should take over the coming year.
It's a dialogue. It provides a dialogue from between city manager and the city staff with the mayor and council that represents our citizens. And so the elected officials have been voted in by their constituents to make sure to ask all the right questions and dig down deep and know what's behind a lot of the programs and how we're proposing to expend those dollars in the next operating year. And so this retreat allows us that time to get away and focus on that and just have relaxed communication between the two parties so we can make sure that we're enhancing and providing good quality services to our citizens.
Over the two-day retreat, the mayor and city council heard from city staff and department heads about their prevailing concerns and needs. And elected representatives prodded and questioned and took them to task on a variety of issues, from computers for fire and rescue trucks, to the question of revamping Grayson Stadium, to pay increases for city staff in order to compete more effectively and to stop the slow bleed of talent into the private sector. And in the end, they came away with a budget with a little something for everyone.
Anytime you can balance a budget, give people raises, only have increases very minor, still be in the lower part across this nation in water rates and what have you, and that we're continuing with our capital projects, and when you look at it that we are making every offer to do whatever the police department needed for public safety, it's a great budget.
Anyone wanting to know more about the proposed budget can attend an upcoming reading and budget hearing scheduled for December 11th. Copies of the proposed budget are on file in the reference section of the Bull Street Library or in the Southwest Chatham Library at the Savannah Mall. Or go online at www.savannahga.gov/budget to learn more. Reporting for CitySpan, I'm Jody Jenkins.
Coming up on CitySpan, preserving Savannah's African-American history for future generations. And later, entrepreneurship and hard work leads to sweet success.
Abandoned, forgotten, unable to move on their own. An eyesore, a nuisance, a threat to public safety, and against city ordinance. Derelict vehicles left on public property will be towed after 10 days and on private property after 30 days. Abandoned vehicles left on public property, including streets, will be towed after 5 days and on private property after 30 days. To report blight of any kind, call 311 or visit the city's website. Help move all of Savannah from blight to bright.
Welcome back to City Span. I'm Margaret Williams. Perfect November weather welcomed 17,000 runners for the 4th annual Rock and Roll Marathon. The upbeat crowd and music-filled streets led to the festive atmosphere in what has become one of the premier events on the city sports calendar. City Span's Savannah-Chatham has more.
Hardly the blink of an eye, and it was that time again, when an estimated 17,000 runners filled the streets of Savannah and the surrounding area for the annual Rock and Roll Marathon. In the 4 years of its coming to town, it's become something of a signature event and a flurry of seasonal events on the city's calendar, tucked in between the film festival and the children's book festival. And for the many thousands who turned out to cheer them on, the atmosphere was relaxed and jovial, people shouting encouragement and holding up signs and ringing cowbells.
They are rocking out, believe me. Well, it's important because it brings people together from all over the world to run here and to see the beauty of our community. And when you're talking about 17 or 18,000 people, just also think that there are families that are coming also. So you're talking about even more people than that. So we're just happy to host the groups, you know, Rock and Roll Marathon when they come in, and they love coming to Savannah. And I love them coming to Savannah. We love them coming to Savannah.
The race wound its way through Savannah with bands playing full tilt all along the route. And then headed out to Savannah State and back into town before finishing up at Forsyth Park. As race participants poured across the finish line through the morning and early afternoon, crowds of well-wishers tried to boost their morale. Forsyth quickly filled with runners and family and friends relaxing and lining up to get massages to help get over the stress of the long event, while bands played throughout the morning. The weather was perfect for this year's event, and judging from the reaction, the crowds will be back for more next year. Reporting for City Span, I'm Savannah-Chatham.
Thanks to a generous donation, the legacy of civil rights leader W.W. Law lives on. The city of Savannah is now home to a collection of more than 1,000 photographs, some dating as far back as 1868. The images documenting the life and times of the city of Savannah from an African-American perspective are now a part of the city's permanent record, available for historians and researchers to use.
The journey continues. It does not end. It does not end when someone passes.
In a public ceremony in November, W.W. Law's photographs, like so many things in his life, became a part of the permanent record of the history of this city. More than 1,000 photographs dating from early as 1868 of life through the eyes of African Americans and through the vision of one man who helped change the face of Savannah. And to honor that vision, present and past city officials were on hand to pay homage to Law's enduring impact on the lives of everyone in Savannah.
I remember the day when black faces were not a part of this building, and look where we are now.
This is a great man, and he deserves to be honored, and his collection needs to be appropriately displayed. So this is the beginning, and I want to thank Madam Mayor for allowing me to have these few words, because we really need to know what an extraordinary individual W.W. Law was.
Mayor Jackson said W.W. Law was a powerful influence on her personally, but she said he touched everyone with his vision and kindness.
Mr. Law was my mentor. I would not be here today had it not been for him, the guidance, the teaching, the corrections that he made with me, and made me see what I needed out of life in order to be where I am. I am happy that as mayor, it has come under my leadership.
The collection documents everything from musicians to churches to longshoremen in the military in the black community. It's available in the City Archives reading room during regular business hours and online at www.savannahga.gov. /digital collections. Reporting for CitySpan, I'm Jody Jenkins.
Each month on CitySpan, we team up with the folks at Bank on Savannah, an initiative of Step Up Savannah, to provide you with easy tips to help you make the most of your money. With more, here's Richard Reed from Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Savannah.
What's on your list for the holidays this year? Perhaps a good credit score? According to a Consumer Federation of America survey, many consumers don't understand how credit scores work. Credit scoring doesn't have to be a mystery. Your credit score contains 5 factors. The first and most important is your payment history. Your payment history makes up 35% of your credit score. Paying on time and in full is the most important thing you can do to improve your credit score. If you are late with credit payments, that hurts you the most. Another important factor is outstanding debt. That makes up 30% of your score. Paying down your debts will help raise your score. High balances in relation to your credit limits can lower your credit score. Aim to only charge up 30% of your available credit on credit card accounts. The next factor affecting your credit score is your length of credit history. This makes up to 15% of your score. Longer relationships with creditors makes you appear to be a less risky borrower. Think twice before closing old accounts or applying for a balance transfer. Inquiries make up 10% of your score. Applying for a new line of credit, called a hard hit, can reduce your credit score. Apply for new credit in moderation, including department store cards. Types of credit are the final factor that determines your score. This makes up 10% of your credit score. A healthy credit profile has a balanced mix of revolving accounts and installment loans. Revolving loans include credit cards, department store cards, and gas credit cards. Installment loans include mortgages, student loans, and car payments. It's important to remember that each of us has many different credit scores. Each agency uses a different scoring model. It's also important to remember that it's the information on your credit report that makes up your score. Checking your credit on a regular basis helps to ensure that the information on your report is accurate. Remember that you can check your credit report through annualcreditreport.com. The staff at Consumer Credit Counseling Service is also happy to help you answer your credit questions at no cost. You can reach us at 912-691-2227. Until next month, happy holidays. I'm Richard Reeve, and you can bank on this.
From the Savannah Bells Ferry and the DOT Downtown Shuttle to environmentally friendly hybrid buses and a bike share program, Chatham Area Transit, or CAT, is an important piece of Savannah's transportation plan, providing a variety of options for residents and tourists. CAT's Patricia Hawkins has more.
Hi, I'm Patricia Hawkins with your monthly CAT update. Here's some information you need to know as we approach the holiday season. CAT will not provide any fixed route bus service or paratransit bus service on Christmas Day, December 25th. Additionally, the DOT shuttle will not operate on that day. Our offices will be closed, ticket sales will not be available, and scheduling information will not be available via telephone. But as always, you may obtain scheduling information from the website at catchacat.org. Regular service will be available on Christmas Eve and the day after Christmas, with ticket sales and scheduling information available via telephone. In other news, Chatham Area Transit and the City of Savannah invite you to take advantage of the service provided by the Liberty Street Shuttle on the weekends. It provides late night service from 9 p.m. until 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday nights. Park your car in any of the parking garages operated by the City of Savannah and travel via shuttle throughout historic downtown Savannah. And finally, Chatham Area Transit officials would like to encourage our passengers to benefit from the use of our pass card versus cash and save you some money. When you consider that a one-way fare is $1.50 and you travel back and forth to work for 5 days, your total cost is $15. That basically allows you to take 2 trips on the bus. But If you purchase a weekly or 7-day pass at the cost of $16, you can use the pass for unlimited rides during the week and 2 extra days. For $1 more, you could have unlimited rides and 2 extra days to ride the bus. This is just one way that we can help you tighten your purse strings, especially during the holiday season. That's it for this month's update. Until next time, I'm Patricia Hawkins, and as always, thank you for catching a cat.
Still to come on City Span, a gift from Parking Services, just in time for the holidays. And later, making the season merry and bright. Welcome back to City Span. I'm Margaret Williams. The Small Business Assistance Corporation provides business loans, counseling, training, and more to small business owners in Savannah and the Low Country. Each month on City Span, we highlight a local business that has benefited from those services. SBAC's Leandria Michael has more.
Today we're visiting Adam Taroni of Chocolat by Adam. Adam proves that hard work and persistence is a recipe for sweet success. A foundation that started in his grandmother's kitchen and is now a staple on Broughton Street. In just a few short years, Adam went from aspiring entrepreneur to the Small Business Assistance Corporation's Micro Enterprise of the Year. Let's get into the kitchen.
It actually all started, like you said, in my grandmother's kitchen, if you could believe that. So it was late night, staying up with her and baking all through the night, eating pastries, drinking tea, and telling stories. So it's really how I found my inspiration for baking. After that, I got very serious and I wanted to go to the CIA, but I knew I had to work in kitchens before I did that. So I was lucky enough to be a part of a program in high school that actually let me leave high school half day and go to work in a restaurant. By the age of 17, I was the pastry chef of a fine dining restaurant in our area. It was the greatest experience ever. I got to manage myself and organize a pastry menu that was real, and that all all the ideas I had came right onto paper. Fast forward to the CIA, where I was lucky enough to be a part of research and development for my chef's book called Chocolates and Confections. And there I just got to have fun. I got to test, I got to mess up, I got to create new things, and most importantly, learn from all the mistakes that I had made and developed some new things. And then packed up my car after graduation and came to Savannah, and I've been here ever since. So ever since I've been in Savannah, it's been constantly inspiring me and pushing me creatively. And one of those ways is actually the newest truffle I have out right now, which is the Midnight Cherry Eclipse. It is something I'm the most proud of because it is a true Savannah-inspired idea. Savannah has a lot to do with what I do here, and it's constantly inspiring me. Well, we've been here for about 2 years now. We just celebrated our second birthday, October 1st. So it's been 2 years since we've been at our Broughton location, and it's actually all been help to the SBAC. They helped us financially be able to stay here and let Savannah be our home. So it's an incredible honor that they were so willing to help us in our endeavor and really believed in us as a business. So this is a tempering machine. And what it does is it takes 25 pounds of chocolate, and now we get our chocolate in 500 pounds every month. So this keeps 25 pounds of chocolate melted and tempered constantly. I have 3 wonderful people that are working for me now. but even that could go so far. So really the machine was the next step needed to progress our business. And that was with the help of the SBAC that we got that. I would 100% recommend the SBAC for sure. It's really the help that I needed for support. You need to know that your business is doing good. Just because you're selling a lot of chocolates doesn't mean you're making enough money to cover it, you know? It's always your costing and you know, your fixed expenses. You need to know all of that. And they really just, they know that you have the ideas and the inspiration. Inspirations are good and ideas are great, but if you don't know the core of it, the backbone, the business part of it, then you're never going to survive. Right. And so that's something that they are very keen on and they see very crucial because it is.
If you need a loan to start or grow your business, visit the Small Business Resource Center at 111 East Liberty Street or check us out online at sbacsav.com. I guess the takeaway here is to dream big, dream bigger, and eat more chocolate. Reporting for the Small Business Assistance Corporation, I'm Leandra Michael.
The City of Savannah is offering 2 fantastic deals to make it easier than ever to park and shop in downtown Savannah this holiday season. With more than 3,000 spaces in the city's 5 conveniently located garages, parking is available just a few steps from one of the most unique shopping districts in the Southeast. And these deals are sure to make your trip downtown more merry and bright.
For the holiday season, we're allowing parkers to have the first 3 hours of free parking on Thursdays and Fridays for the rest of the year. All 5 city-owned parking garages. We offer smart cards that you can use to park at our multi-space meters, and the parking smart cards are in denominations of $25, $50, or $75. And what we're doing for our holiday incentive is we're going to offer those cards at a discounted price of 50% of the face value of those cards.
The parking cards are perfect stocking stuffers. They can be used anytime and have no expiration date. They're also a great deal for those who ever park in the historic district north of Barton Street, where the pay and display meters are concentrated. To view a map of garage locations, check rates, and see hours of operations, go to www.savannahga.gov/parking. And finally on City Span, an old holiday tradition continues and a new one begins. The annual Mayor's Motorcade rolled through the South Side earlier this week. Representatives from towns throughout the region drove cars and trucks stuffed with presents. Their destination, Georgia Regional Hospital on Eisenhower Drive, where the gifts were distributed to deserving patients.
Not only toys, but clothing, body products, anything that the people that are living in the facility can use. Televisions, they do it all.
Meanwhile, in downtown, city crews were hard at work for days stringing a canopy of lights across Broughton Street. And during a festive ceremony earlier this month, an appreciative crowd gathered as the switch was flipped to turn on the thousands of lights, officially kicking off the holiday season downtown.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Mayor Pro Tem Van Johnson, Will Joyner of the Downtown Business Association, and Ben Carter, whose company has been instrumental in the revitalization effort underway downtown, were all on hand for the lighting. In addition to the lights above the streets, the decorations include decorated trees along the sidewalks, lampposts adorned with garland and bows, and festive window displays up and down the street. That's going to do it for this edition of City Span. Don't forget, for the latest news and information about the City of Savannah, keep it tuned to SGTV. Visit our website, savannahga.gov, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. From all of us here at the City of Savannah, we wish for you and yours a safe and happy holiday season. Until next time, I'm Margaret Williams. Thanks for watching, and thanks for making Savannah your home.